Free of stress is the title of this presentation.
今日同大家分享嘅題目係冇壓力。
Many people are held in the prison of stress.
好多人係被監禁喺呢一個壓力嘅牢獄裏邊。
We will teach you how to get out of this prison of stress.
我哋希望同大家分享點樣可以從呢個牢獄裏面係逃出嚟，
Or how to get rid of the stress of your life.
或者趕走我哋生活上嘅一啲壓力。
I will start with a story that happened to one of my friends in Brazil.
首先，我同大家分享一個故事，係關於我個喺巴西嘅朋友嘅。
I was born in Brazil many years ago.
好多年前，我就喺巴西出世。
And Brazil is really an anti-stress country.
事實上，巴西就係一個冇乜壓力嘅城市。
Like in Rio de Janeiro, we have so many beaches and so many happy people.
因為喺嗰度有好多好靚嘅沙灘，同埋有多好開心嘅人。
In the Iguaçu Falls, we have plenty of nature.
而亦都係喺個大自然嘅裏邊咧，有好多唔同嘅瀑布。
And then we have the Amazon River.
仲有咧係亞馬遜河添。
Just looking at this picture, we can really feel relaxed.
就係睇下呢一幅圖片，我哋已經覺得好輕鬆咯。
So this is a country that we should not be stressed out.
嗱，所以喺呢個咁嘅國家生活，我哋就唔會有壓力啦。
But it's not like that to everyone.
但係唔係個個都可以做得到嘅噃。
I used to work in a hospital in Brazil.
咁我仲記得咧，我係曾經喺巴西嘅一間醫院嗰度做過嘢。
The São Paulo Adventist Hospital.
就喺聖保羅市嘅我哋一個福林醫院。
And one of my colleagues was Dr. Silva.
其中我有一位同事咧，佢係思維醫生。
He was the anesthesiologist in the hospital.
佢咧就係一位麻醉師。
Dr. Silva was a funny guy.
而施醫生其實佢係一位好有趣嘅人嚟嘅喎。
Always happy, always joking.
佢成日都好開心同埋講笑嘅。
But he had a big problem.
佢有一個好大嘅問題。
High level of stress, working day and night without stopping.
24小時工作唔停咁樣，佢嘅工作壓力非常之大。
And in consequence, high blood pressure and no time for exercise.
結果就係佢患上高血壓，同埋咧係冇運動嘅時間。
I always told him, Dr. Silva, you'd have to do some exercise and you have to control your blood pressure.
我成日都同佢講，施醫生啊，你做下運動啦，控制下血壓。
But he always said, I don't have the time, sorry.
跟住佢就同我講，唔好意思啊，我都冇時間。
And then I told him, you have to control your stress and have some breaks.
我叫佢，喂，你一定要咧多啲休息下喎，嚇，控制下自己嘅壓力喎。
Sorry, Dr. Santos, but I don't have the time.
唔好意思啊，山道士醫生，我真係冇時間。
One day I was working in the night shift
記得有一晚咧，我就係當夜班，
and got an emergency patient at night.
咁喺夜晚嘅時候收咗一位急症嘅病人。
Can you imagine what kind of patient was that?
你可唔可以想象佢係邊一種嘅病人呢？
Yes, it was Dr. Silva.
原來就係施醫生啊。
And he was not feeling that well.
當時佢覺得唔舒服，
He was saying, I'm dying, Dr. Santos. Please help, help.
當時佢同我講，山道士醫生，我快要死啦，你可唔可以救下我啊？
There was 3 more doctors working with me and 2 nurses.
咁當時有另外嘅2位醫生同埋2位護士同我一齊去急救佢。
We worked for more than 2 hours on Dr. Silva.
我哋用咗2個鐘頭嘅時間去搶救，
But it was too late.
但係最終都係太遲啦。
He was gone.
佢離開咗我哋。
We try our best to save our friend.
我哋盡咗我哋嘅能力去挽救呢個朋友嘅生命，
But it was too late. A massive heart attack.
但係太遲啦，因為係一個嚴重嘅心臟病。
My question is that what Dr. Silva could have done to save his life?
我個問題就係，究竟施醫生佢可以做啲乜嘢嚟挽救翻佢自己嘅生命呢？
We know that many things he could have done, but the most important thing is control his stress.
嗱，當然佢有好多嘢可以做，但係其中一個就係佢要控制佢嘅壓力。
Am I under stress? Are you under stress?
你同我係咪都喺壓力底下呢？
So you have to ask this question for you. Are you under stress?
可能你要問問自己，你係咪真係喺呢個大嘅壓力底下呢？
You better pay attention because if your stress is too high, you might have a risk.
嗱，你一定要留意喎，如果你嘅壓力真係太大嘅話呢，你會有好多嘅危機出現㗎。
So the question now is, what is stress?
問題係壓力係乜嘢呢？
It looks like stress is a reaction from the body and from the mind to any aggression upon us.
壓力原來就係身體同埋心理上對外界侵略嘅一啲反應。
I symbolize or illustrate stress as a crocodile that is threatening you.
我咧就用一個鱷魚去咧一個恐嚇緊你嘅鱷魚去做一個嘅例證。
So when you see the crocodile, you release the stress hormones.
當你見到鱷魚嘅時候，你嗰個壓力荷爾蒙就會生產出嚟啦。
Like cortisol, adrenaline, and dopamine.
例如係皮質醇啦、腎上腺素啦，同埋呢個多巴胺等等。
In consequence, your heart rate will be increased, your blood glucose, your blood cholesterol, and your blood pressure will be increased.
個結果就係你嘅心跳會加快，血糖、膽固醇同埋血壓都會上升。
And then your body is going to be ready to fight or fly.
而你嘅身體就會預備好去搏鬥啦，或者係逃跑。
So you have energy to fight the situation or you're going to run away.
所以你就有足夠嘅能力啦去搏鬥，或者咧你係去逃跑啦。
Just to illustrate what happened when you are under stress, I brought a crocodile here.
我特登帶咗條鱷魚嚟，話俾大家聽，當你喺壓力反應底下，其實真正嘅情況係點樣？
When we face a crocodile first time and just one time, you have a very stressful reaction.
當你第一次見到鱷魚嘅時候，淨係見一次啫，你就會出現咗呢個壓力嘅反應。
And that is normal. Everybody can have the same reaction, no problem.
嗱，呢個係冇問題嘅喎，每個人都會係咁樣嘅，係好正常嘅。
But when you have many crocodiles around you all day long, then you have a problem.
但係問題就係話，如果有好多條嘅鱷魚圍住你，唔係見一見，乃係24小時咁樣對住，呢個就係一個問題啦。
Then you don't have one reaction anymore. You will have the same reaction all day long, and this is a high level of stress.
而當時你嘅反應唔係一次，而係24小時都出現呢個壓力嘅反應，呢個就係問題所在啦。
Pay attention now to this survey done by the City University of Hong Kong.
留意下呢個香港城市大學做過一個嘅研究啊，
Among 610 respondents,
有610位被訪者，
they figured out that the main symptoms of stress are
咁佢哋發覺咧，嗰啲壓力嘅情況出現嘅問題咧，有如下：
fatigue, irritated temper, mood swings, sleep disorders,
有疲倦啦、暴躁啦、情緒唔穩定同埋失眠等。
difficulty concentrating, poor memory, and vulnerability to illness.
難以集中精神、記憶力差同埋容易患病。
Headaches, muscular pain in the shoulder, and gastrointestinal problems.
頭痛啦、肩膊嘅肌肉酸痛同埋腸胃病等等。
This match with the consequence of stress that we know.
咁佢亦都會引致一啲壓力嘅後果嘅。
So the classic consequences of stress are
呢一個嘅壓力嘅後果咧，
anxiety, worries, panic attacks, burnout, low productivity, psychological illnesses, and social problems.
就係包括咗憂慮、驚恐症、精神崩潰、生產力低、心理嘅疾病同埋一啲社會嘅問題等。
Then stress affects the physical body,
咁至於呢個生理上嘅後果又係點呢？
increases the chance of colds and flu, digestive problems, depression, and cancer.
容易會患上呢個感冒啦、消化嘅問題啦、憂鬱啦同埋癌症等。
And stress is related to the chronic diseases
另外咧就係壓力亦都會引致一啲長期病患喎，
like hypertension, diabetes, heart disease, strokes, and obesity.
包括有高血壓、糖尿病、心臟病、中風同埋肥胖。
So how to manage stress?
點樣去處理啲壓力呢？
We have 3 techniques to manage stress.
我哋有3個方法。
First is to increase your strength against the stressors.
第一就係提升你嘅能力去對抗呢個壓力源。
Then the second is to change your perceptions or alterate your perception. How do you feel about the stressors?
其次就係改變你對呢個壓力源嘅睇法。
And then is how to control the stressors.
而第3咧就係控制呢個壓力源啦。
We will go one by one to those topics, discuss those topics following.
我哋逐個睇下。
The crocodile here represents the stressors of life.
呢一條鱷魚就係代表我哋喺生活上面一啲壓力嘅來源。
The first thing to control the stressors of life is to increase our strength.
首先第一樣嘢，如果我哋要控制呢個壓力嘅話咧，我哋就需要強化我哋自己嘅能力。
Like you have to do a lot of exercise and then you are going to be strong enough to grasp the crocodile and to close its mouth, and so you are controlling the stressors of life.
所以我哋就要做好多嘅運動去強化我哋嘅肌肉，使至到我哋再遇到鱷魚嘅時候，我哋可以好冇有力咁樣將佢捉住，然後將佢嘅口合埋。
The second point is to analyze the situations, the stressors, in a way that they are not that harmful.
第二樣嘢就係我哋嘗試再睇下呢個壓力嘅來源，我哋可能用唔同嘅角度去睇，就話：咦，原來佢唔係真係咁得人驚啫。
Like this crocodile, you can see it as not dangerous. You can see it like a toy, and you can even play with it.
嗱，當你睇到佢其實唔係咁得人驚嘅時候，甚至佢係原來係一件玩具，我哋可以玩添。
So the other point is related to how to control the stressor.
其次咧就係我哋點樣去控制呢個壓力來源。
And then in that case, you have to put a cage in the crocodile, and you have it under control.
我哋就將呢個壓力嘅來源封閉喺呢一個嘅牢籠裏邊，去控制佢。
So you have to learn how to do activities that put your stress under control.
所以我哋一定要有一啲嘅活動，能夠可以控制到我哋嘅壓力。
The first one is how to increase your strength.
首先睇下我哋點樣可以提升我哋嘅能力啊。
So we believe that a lifestyle is important for you to develop a good anti-stress body and mind.
嗱，我哋好相信一個健康嘅生活習慣係幫助我哋，無論喺生理、心理上咧，係去提升我哋嘅能力嘅。
And then we propose the New Start lifestyle in order to prevent stress.
我哋同大家推介新起點嘅生活方式，去對付呢個嘅壓力。
So New Start means good nutrition, exercise, water.
呢度包括有足夠嘅營養啦、運動啦同埋水。
And then sunshine, temperance, air pure, rest and trust.
其次就係陽光、節制、空氣、休息同埋信靠。
So for every person that is under stress, we advise the person, can you check your lifestyle against those factors?
所以當一個人喺壓力大嘅時候，我哋就會建議佢睇下喺個生活模式上面有冇啲嘢可以轉變。
Let's take a look at some of those factors.
我哋睇一睇
Like nutrition.
營養方面點呢？
A person that eats a lot of junk food, sugar, fat and caffeine.
嗱，如果佢哋係好中意食啲垃圾食物，譬如高糖分、高脂肪等等嘅食物，
This person will have a high level of stress.
佢就會有一個好大嘅壓力啦。
The best thing is to use a lot of fruits and vegetables, whole grains, whole wheat bread and brown rice.
嗱，最好咧就係多食蔬果，同埋選用粗糙嘅五穀、全麥麵包、糙米等等。
In terms of exercise,
嗱，至於運動方面，
the best way is to develop a habit of going outside.
就係咧常常咧出去有啲戶外嘅活動。
Exercise is the best thing for stress, depression, anxiety, and physical and mental performance.
因為運動可以幫助我哋預防呢個憂鬱，亦都可以改善我哋喺生理同埋心理上嘅一啲嘅表現。
Outdoor exercise is good mostly when you do that in a country park.
嗱，當你去到戶外，特別係去到郊野公園散步，其實真係唔錯。
This is what they call ecotherapy.
我哋稱之為環境治療。
So it's proved that walking at least 30 minutes in a park decreases your level of depression and stress.
佢哋研究裏面發現，如果每日能夠喺公園散步30分鐘，能夠減低患呢個憂鬱同埋壓力嘅情況。
What is ecotherapy?
咁環境治療係乜嘢呢？
The definition is exactly like that, getting outdoor and getting active in a green or natural environment.
其實佢嗰個係好簡單，就係話我哋去到戶外，喺一個綠油油嘅環境裏面係活躍。
I could simply say ecotherapy is exercise in nature.
或者我就會簡單咁講，就係去到大自然嘅地方做運動。
The University of Essex in Britain did a very interesting study.
喺英國嘅艾塞克斯大學做咗一個好有趣嘅研究。
They figured out that people after walking in the park, they have less depression and tension, and they have a 90% increase in self-esteem.
佢哋發現，如果係有喺呢個大自然或者係公園裏面步行咧，佢哋可以減低患抑鬱症同埋精神緊張，而且咧可以提升佢哋嘅自我形象90%。
So when they compare to people that were walking in the shopping center, those people have 40% less depression only, but they have 21% of them more depressed.
至於咧係同一啲譬如咧去購物漫步嘅人去比較咧，佢哋發現當然啦可以減低45% 嘅憂鬱，但係相對嚟講咧就增加咗佢哋咧患憂鬱症嘅機會係21% 嘅。
And 50% of them were even more tense.
而50% 嘅人佢哋發現精神更加緊張。
Maybe when they walk in the shopping mall, they see the high price and they get more tense for that.
可能當佢哋去到百貨公司見到咧，哇嗰啲價錢咁高，佢哋更加緊張啦。
But what we know is that walking in the nature is a very good way to relax.
所以喺大自然地方步行係一個最好嘅減壓方法。
So now let's talk about the second point, how to change your perception of stress.
其次，我哋睇下點樣可以改變我哋對事物嘅睇法啦。
There is something interesting. Many people have real reasons for stress and depression because they are poor, they have problems in life, they have disease, but they feel happy.
但係好奇怪喎，有啲人咧，佢哋生活非常之貧困，而且咧有疾病啊或者分離嘅情況，但係咧佢哋竟然係冇俾壓力係壓到，並且咧係都唔會有憂鬱嘅情況。
Other people have everything, and then they feel so miserable.
有啲人佢哋擁有好多嘅嘢，但係佢哋仍然覺得生活係好枯燥乏味。
To explain that, we think that the problem is how do you interpret the things that are around you.
所以我哋就牽涉到我哋點樣去睇我哋周圍環境嘅嘢啦。
One of the solutions is to concentrate in the hows and not in the whys.
其中一個解決方法就係我哋着眼喺點樣，而唔係點解。
Instead of saying, why did it happen to me? You could say, how can I solve it?
嗱，與其問點解發生喺我身上，或者我可以問下點樣去解決啊？
And I use the ants to illustrate that point.
嗱，我哋用螞蟻去嘗試解釋俾大家聽。
When ants face problems, instead of focusing on why did it happen, they fastly go and try to find a way to fix that problem immediately.
嗱，而當螞蟻遇到困難嘅時候，佢哋唔係問點解喎，佢哋通常就係用一個最快嘅方法去解決問題。
Another point is that, can I see a big picture?
另一個點就係我哋能唔能夠睇到個更廣闊嘅角度去睇呢？
If something happened to you, can you see that is not that fact only, but there is something else related to that?
可能我哋唔係淨係睇到事實，我哋而係睇到事實嘅背後。
To illustrate that point, I will tell you the story of Balaam, the prophet in the Bible.
就去解釋呢一點，我想用先知巴蘭嘅故事去同大家分享。
He was riding a donkey, and the donkey pressed him to a wall and hurt his leg.
當時佢騎住一隻驢，呢隻驢咧貼近牆去行喎，於是咧整傷咗佢隻腳。
And then he spanked the donkey several times.
佢打呢隻驢仔打咗幾次，
And then the donkey talked
跟住咧隻驢仔講嘢喎。
and said something like that. Can you stop beating me? Can't you see the big picture?
於是隻驢仔就話啦：你可唔可以唔好打我啊？你可唔可以睇下呢個事實嘅全部呢？
And then Balaam could see what was going on.
當時巴蘭就睇到有咩事發生咯。
There was an angel with a sword to cut Balaam's head.
當時咧佢見到咧一個嘅天使咧揸住一把劍，幾乎咧要將巴蘭嘅頭係斬落嚟。
The donkey could see it. Balaam could not.
當時其實係呢隻驢仔睇到，而咧巴蘭卻係睇唔到。
And the donkey, in fact, was saving Balaam's life.
而當時其實呢一個嘅驢仔係想救翻巴蘭先知嘅一條命。
How many times in our lives we cannot see the big picture?
有我哋問我哋喺生活上，曾幾何時我哋真係睇唔到呢個事實嘅全部？
Sometimes the struggles happen to teach us a lesson.
有時候當呢啲要掙扎嘅事情發生嘅時候，係要教導我哋一啲嘢。
So we should have our eyes open to see the big picture.
所以我哋要張開眼睛睇事實嘅全部分。
So when you have a problem, it's important to you to use this phrase, wear somebody else's shoes.
嗱，所以當事情發生嘅時候，可能你嘗試下就係要用呢一句句子，就話要着上別人嘅鞋。
And this does not mean to literally wear somebody else's shoes, but this means that you put yourself in the position of other person, and then you might feel that this was not that bad.
嗱，如果真係事情發生嘅時候，其實意思即係話咧，我哋嘗試下用佢嘅角度去諗一諗。
Sometimes you have to give some time, like sleeping on it for one night, and then the other day you can think about the problem again.
嗱，有時候係需要啲時間嘅，我哋可唔可以點啊？將問題留到聽日先解決咧？瞓醒先。
Try to extract positive lessons from your problems and always think that it could be worse.
嗱，試下咧喺啲問題裡面，或吸取一啲正面嘅教訓，同埋咧去睇下其實唔係咁差嘅啫。
If you change your way of thinking, you can control your anger, your anxiety, and your depression.
如果你改變你思想嘅方法，你可以控制到你自己嘅憤怒啦、你嘅憂慮同埋你嘅憂鬱。
And you also can control your stress and reach a better level of mental health.
亦都可以控制你嘅壓力，從而達到一個咧係質素較高嘅精神健康。
Why do people worry too much about things that will happen tomorrow?
你有冇諗過點解有啲人係為將來而過分嘅憂慮呢？
Do you know that 95% of things that people worry about tomorrow will never happen?
你有冇諗過原來有95%我哋所擔心嘅嘢，其實係永遠都唔會發生呢？
So there is a treatment or a theory for changing patterns of thinking called cognitive behavior therapy.
有一種嘅方法可以幫我哋去改變思想方法，呢個就係叫做認知行為治療啦。
So we advise that people should change the way that they normally think.
我相信我哋真係需要改變一下我哋思考嘅模式。
So I will mention here some common wrong thoughts.
嗱，我哋有啲錯誤嘅思想方法嘅喎，
Like it is my fault.
可能你會話呢個係我嘅錯。
We always commit mistakes. Everybody commits mistakes. It's not just one's fault.
嗱，可能我哋會話，唉，我時時都犯錯。其實每一個人都會犯錯，唔係淨係我一個喎。
The other one is I always do wrong. All people commit mistakes, and sometimes they do good, sometimes they do wrong.
有時候你話，唉，點解我成日都做錯呢？但係你唔好忘記，其實每一個人都有做錯嘅時間嘅喎。
I am bad.
我唔好嘅。
Well, I am bad one day and another day I'm not that bad, so we always do bad things and good things again.
有時候我做得唔係咁好，但有時我又做得幾好嘅喎，所以好同唔好之間成日都係交替咁出現。
Things are going to be worse. I had a bad day.
呢個事情咧會越嚟越差噶啦嚇！今日咧都係唔係幾好噶啦。
So when we start the day like that, of course the day will be bad. We make up, we predict our behavior doing things that are bad or negatively thinking.
所以如果我哋真係一日開始就已經話啲事情係會唔對勁嘅話咧，佢就真係會發生喎。
Things always happen to me.
呢啲事情時時都會發生喺我身上嘅。
It is your fault.
呢個係你嘅錯。
Or it is my fault.
或者呢個係我嘅錯。
Or people don't like me.
佢哋都係唔中意我噶啦。
And another one is that I know what you think.
我知你喺度諗乜。
We start reading minds instead of listen to people.
有時候咧，我哋應該係聽人哋講嘢啊嘛，而唔係咧嘗試去讀佢心裏面係諗緊乜。
Please try to confront your distorted thinking, and you will reach a balanced way of seeing things in life.
所以請你正視你一個歪曲嘅思想，使到你可以對於事情有一個更平衡嘅睇法。
The third point in the stress management is to control the stressors.
控制壓力嘅第三點就係要控制我哋嘅壓力源。
Remember, we represent stressors as anything that scares you.
我哋開始嘅時候就用一啲你見到好驚嘅嘢嚟代表呢個壓力源。
And we symbolize here by the crocodile or any other animal.
跟住咧就係我哋用咗一條嘅鱷魚啦去代表，或者其他嘅你好驚嘅動物。
So we have to learn how to put the stress under control, or the animals inside of the cage.
所以我哋一定要控制點樣去控制呢一啲嘅咁得人驚嘅壓力源呢？或者我哋要將呢一個鱷魚係擺落去一個籠裏邊。
The first topic is organization.
首先就係要組織。
You have to learn how to organize your life, have a schedule for everything.
我哋要喺我哋嘅日常生活裏邊好有條理，我哋有時間表。
And don't forget to have in your schedule time for your family and time for you to have relaxation and exercise.
嗱，記住喎，要俾翻啲時間俾屋企人啦，俾自己同埋俾運動㗎。
Now the second point is setting priorities.
跟住我哋就係睇下點樣去安排優先次序啦。
What are the three more important things in your life?
喺你嘅生命裏面有邊三樣嘢係最重要嘅呢？
You should write down this and have this in your mind frequently during your activities.
我哋需要將佢寫低，同埋咧，無論我哋做乜嘢嘅時候，我哋都要緊記。
For instance, if the main priority in your life is your family, you have to put in practice that concept.
嗱，如果你覺得呢個家庭對你嚟講係重要嘅話，你就要喺日常嘅生活裏面真係實行出嚟啦。
And what I mean by that is that you have to spend more time, more quality time with your family if this is a priority in your life.
嗱，所以如果你將家庭擺咗喺最重要嘅位置，你一定要撥時間出嚟喺同佢哋一齊。
Anyways, my advice now is for you to put the three more important things in your life. Write down in a paper and see what are you doing, how much time you are spending on those things.
或者你依家可以試下將3件最重要嘅事寫低啊，然後計一計你曾經擺咗幾多時間落去。
The other thing that you have to have a written description is the goals in life.
嗱，另外一個你要寫低嘅咧就係我哋人生嘅目標啦。
You should have a very clear picture of your short-term goals and your long-term goals and the plan B for your life.
嗱，我哋需要喺我哋嘅人生裏面訂立一啲短期啦、長期嘅計劃，或者咧係另一類嘅計劃。
The short term is the goals for the few months ahead of you.
嗱，短期咧就係指可能嚟緊嘅呢幾個月你可以達到嘅目標。
The long term should be 5 years from now. Where are you going to be?
而長期計劃乃係代表5年之後你已經去到咩嘅地步呢？
And we always should have a plan B.
嗱，記住喎，記得定一啲另類嘅計劃啊！
And plan B means what would you do if you don't get your dream job and your dream activity in life?
嗱，呢個另類嘅計劃啦，係話如果你達唔到嘅時候，你可以做啲乜嘢呢？
You should have in your mind an opening to do something else, something that you might enjoy, but is not your main thing now.
而呢一個咧就係你要喺你個心思裏面成日都要記住，除咗你要達到嘅目標之外咧，你係可以做一啲你可以享受嘅嘢。
When I was in university, they always asked me, what are you going to do in 5 years after you finish your course?
咁咧喺大學嘅時候，時時咧老師都會問5年之後，當你讀完，你會有咩計劃？
It's important for us to have some ideas on that, to guide our lives and to control our stress.
嗱，當然啦，有呢個目標係好重要嘅，因為佢可以帶動我哋人生嘅方向同埋目標。
Another important thing to control stress and to put stress in their place is to have your time under control.
嗱，另一樣嘢就係重要噶啦，就係咧要控制我哋嘅時間。
So again, you have to organize your time, you have to organize your activities and have a good schedule.
嗱，記住啊，要有條理，要有時間表去安排我哋日常嘅生活。
And then another point is that you have to avoid procrastination.
記住要避免咧係拖延。
So sometimes people postpone things, mostly when they have problems to solve. They decide to solve this tomorrow or next week.
嗱，好多時候當你要做一啲決定咧，你好多時候都會拖延。
So whenever you have a conflict or an important thing to do, it's better to do now or to do in a few days than to let it go for too long in the future.
嗱，如果你覺得呢樣嘢重要嘅話，最好就係而家就做，或者喺嚟緊呢幾日就能夠做完呢件事。
And don't forget, in time control, the important thing is your priorities. When you put your priorities in written, and then you can tell what is more important, and then you spend more time with that.
嗱，如果你講到時間控制嘅話咧，首先你一定要係將佢排咗先後次序，最重要嘅做先。
We advise you to check and make what we call a time inventory.
嗱，我哋希望咧，你能夠檢視一下你個時間嘅清單。
So you don't need to have this for every time, for every day.
嗱，你唔需要每日都做㗎噃。
But you have to have an idea of how much time you spend for work, for activities, for eating.
嗱，但係一定要咧係寫翻低，究竟你喺工作啊、做其他嘅活動啊，或者係其他嘅事情上面用咗幾多時間。
And also for relaxation, and mostly you have to pay attention how much time you spend for sleep.
嗱，或者我哋用咗幾多時間去做一啲輕鬆嘅活動，甚至係我哋用咗幾多時間去瞓覺呢？
Remember, you need to have at least 7 or 8 hours of sleep per night.
記住每晚起碼都要有7至8個鐘頭先至夠㗎。
Well, another important thing is communication.
另一樣亦都係好重要嘅咧，就係我哋嘅溝通啦。
First of all, you have to be honest with yourself and with others.
嗱，記住對自己同埋別人都要誠實。
Try to be sincere and try to be less critical of other people.
要表現出友善啦，同埋咧唔好成日都指責。
And worse, don't make fun of people.
記住咧，千祈唔好玩弄別人喎。
Another important thing is communication.
另一個重要嘅咧就係溝通嘅課題。
The first thing is that you have to be honest with yourself and honest with other people.
嗱，首先最重要就係對自己同埋別人忠誠。
Try to talk to them and try to be sincere when you communicate with others.
嗱，記住同人哋溝通嘅時候，同人哋講嘢啦，要友善喎。
And you should be less critical, and worse, you should not make fun of other people.
嗱，千祈唔好指責人啦，而且咧唔好係笑人哋添。
Your language should be clear.
你用嘅言語需要係明確一啲。
If you think someone is not understanding what you say, you better ask them to ask what was that they understood.
嗱，如果你唔係好清楚對方係收唔收到你嘅信息，最好就係問一問佢哋啦。
And when we are talking about work, if you have written documents, that's the ideal thing.
嗱，如果喺工作上你能夠係將佢寫低嘅話咧，就係最好。
Another important thing is how to solve your problems.
嗱，另外一個咧就係點樣去解決問題咧？
I would advise first that you should develop a system that start with simple thing and then you go to complex things.
嗱，樣樣嘢都係由簡單先至開始去到複雜。
We use the problem solving technique and I put here the 4 irons.
嗱，呢一度咧就有4個解決問題嘅方案喎。
Like definition, solution, action and evaluation.
呢個係講定義啦、解決方法、行動同埋呢個評估。
So first of all, you have to define very clear what is the real problem.
嗱，首先要定出究竟呢個問題嘅所在係乜嘢。
Then you list a couple or more solutions to the problem.
然後你咧將一啲解決方法咧係列出嚟。
And then you have to put in action.
當然要付諸於行動啦。
So if one of these solutions doesn't work, you can evaluate later on and apply the other solution that you listed.
嗱，如果你發覺某一個解決方法係唔可行嘅話咧，你可以咧下一次就試用另外一啲解決方法啦。
Remember, try to solve your problem with the simplest idea that you can solve it.
嗱，記住喎，用一啲簡單嘅方法去解決先。
Like as an example, when you go to a doctor
嗱，好似舉個例啊，當你去見醫生嘅時候咧，
and you have headache,
咁你有頭痛嘅情況喎。
the doctor might ask some tests and might give you some advice.
嗱，當然啦，醫生就會幫你做一啲嘅測試同埋俾一啲意見你。
But he would not send you to take an MRI because you probably have a brain tumor.
嗱，佢好喺開始嘅時候，絕對唔會將你咧係送去咧做呢一個嘅磁力共振，懷疑你有呢個腦癌，佢唔會咁做嘅。
Most cases of headache are related to food or related to stress.
嗱，好多時候頭痛都係同我哋食嘅食物有關啦，或者係同我哋嘅壓力有關。
Except if your headache is chronic and is not going away with a simple treatment, then you go to complex solutions.
嗱，如果呢個頭痛係持續嘅話咧，可能醫生先至會建議你去做一啲比較複雜嘅檢查，例如好似我哋頭先所講嘅磁力共振咁樣。
I will tell you, if you learn how to solve your problems, you will have less stress.
嗱，如果你真係學識點樣解決問題嘅話咧，喺生活上你會少啲壓力啦。
Okay, now let's go for distraction.
好啦，至於分散注意力又點可以達到呢？
So you have the problems, but somehow you cannot solve your problems very easy.
嗱，有時候當嗰啲困難嚟到咧，唔係咁容易去解決嘅喎。
So you have to put something in your mind to take you away from the problem.
嗱，所以我哋要將我哋嘅思想咧係轉移一下。
So music is one of the things.
而音樂咧係其中一樣。
If you go to nature, is another thing very good.
嗱，如果你能夠去到大自然嘅話，亦都係另一件非常美好嘅事。
And you do something new, this will distract your mind.
嗱，嘗試一啲新嘅事物，佢可以將你嘅注意力係分散。
And give you a real sense of relaxation.
真係能夠俾到你真正放鬆嘅感覺。
Sometimes we need to do something with our hands.
嗱，有時我哋需要用我哋嘅手去做一啲手作仔，
like wood carving,
譬如好似呢啲係木嘅雕刻咁啦，
or any other crafting activity.
或者其他啲嘅手工藝都得。
When you produce something with your hands, your brain gets the reward.
嗱，當你用手去做嘅時候咧，你個腦咧就得到嗰種嘅好處啦。
So if you can distract yourself and at the same time spend time with your family,
嗱，如果能夠將注意力分散，亦都同家人咧係多啲去相處嘅時候咧。
in my case, I mean, several times we have a soccer game with the kids and even my wife play.
嗱，好似咧有時我都會同我啲小朋友一齊踢波嘅，有時我太太都會同我哋一齊踢嘅喎。
So whatever you do, if you can include your family, it's gonna be much better.
嗱，所以當你揀一啲活動，能夠同你嘅屋企人一齊去參與咧，就非常好啦。
Or go for a walk in the park.
去到呢一個公園度去步行啦。
Remember, the green color is very relaxing.
記住啊，綠色咧其實係好能夠令到你放鬆㗎。
Or someone like to swim. Swimming also is a very good exercise.
如果有啲人中意游水嘅話咧，游水都係一個好好嘅運動。
Another important thing is to spend more time with children.
另一個重要嘅咧就係要俾多啲時間同啲兒童一齊相處。
So when you have the opportunity to play with them, to tell them a story, you will get the best reward.
如果你能夠同佢哋一齊講個故事俾佢聽，最得益嘅咧就係你自己啦。
Why don't you go to the kitchen and try to cook something?
或者我哋亦都可以去到我哋嘅廚房煮下嘢食。
Of course, if you are a man and are not used to that, that would be something new and something that will relax you.
如果你係一個男人去到呢個廚房嘅話咧，呢啲對你嚟講係啲新事物，可能都會令到你有放鬆嘅感覺。
And if your wife is the cook, now you can have an opportunity to help her and she will do something else instead of cooking.
而如果你通常咧係太太煮飯嘅話咧，咁你去幫佢煮飯，佢就可以試另一啲新嘅嘢啦。
How about a pet, a dog or a cat?
寵物又點咧？或者一隻貓或者一隻狗。
Sometimes dogs and cats and animals, they demonstrate much more love for us than other human beings.
有時候我哋喺寵物裏面所得到嘅愛咧，係比起喺我哋身邊嘅人咧，係嚟得仲多。
And there are some studies that show that old people, if they have pets, they live longer and they have less disease.
有啲研究就顯示，老人家如果係養寵物嗰啲咧，佢哋咧係會更加長命，同埋係少啲疾病。
Coming back to using your hands, try to do some drawings.
如果用我哋嘅手咧，我哋亦都可以係做一啲畫畫啦。
So whatever you do, try to relax yourself and learn something that you never have done before.
無論你做乜都好啦，其實我哋就希望大家能夠去多啲去嘗試。
Another point in the stress control is to change your mood.
其次咧就係要改變我哋一啲嘅情緒。
So if you are irritated, always grumpy, you should change and be more happy.
如果你成日都係好古縮啦，同埋咧成日都坐立不安嘅話，我哋就要改變成為一個更快樂嘅人。
So you see that it's important to develop a positive mind.
如果要建立一個正面嘅思想係非常重要㗎。
And for that, sometimes you have to apply what we call the serenity prayer.
或者我哋就需要學習下呢個禱告。
And the first part is ask God to accept the things that you cannot change.
首先就係叫神咧去幫助我哋去接受一啲我哋唔能夠改變嘅事情。
Sometimes we get so irritated because people don't change, because the situation don't change.
因為有時我哋見到人同埋事都唔改變嘅時候咧，我哋覺得好唔開心。
And we have to learn how to accept that. And maybe only with the power of the Lord we can accept that.
所以我哋要學習去接受。有時候我哋自己做唔到，但係神可以幫我哋。
To illustrate this point, I think you have to put in mind that there are two types of things in life.
要改變呢，我哋首先要學識，原來喺我哋嘅生命裏面有一啲嘢可以改變，有啲嘢唔可以改變。
You see in the column in this picture, in the left column, things that you can change: work, feelings, habits, friends, clothes, house, present, and also you can change yourself.
喺左邊呢度咧就列出咗我哋可以改變嘅，例如工作啦、感受、興趣、朋友、衣服、房屋、而家嘅現狀同埋我自己。
In the right column, you have the things that you cannot change, like gender, diseases, death, past, relatives, family, and people. Sometimes you cannot change people.
而右邊嘅就係有啲唔能夠改變嘅事情，例如係我哋嘅性別啦、疾病、死亡、過去咗嘅，同埋咧我哋嘅親人、家庭，甚至係其他人。
Please make a list of things that you can and you cannot change for yourself.
或者你自己可以寫低一啲你能夠改變嘅同埋唔能夠改變嘅事情。
And then spend more time on changing the things that you can.
然後多啲用時間去做一啲能夠改變嘅事情，
And pray for strength to accept the things that you cannot change.
而唔能夠改變嘅呢，我哋就用祈禱，求上帝咧幫我哋去接受。
Can you change your personality?
我哋嘅性格可唔可以改變呢？
First of all, you should analyze what is your personality.
嗱，首先我哋咧就要分析下究竟你係邊一類嘅性格先。
Hey, what do you do that? How can you do that? My new hat, you have to pay. Hey, sit right here. Come back here. That's messed up. Hey. Hey, look at this, look at this. My new hat. How can you do that? My wife bought this for me. I have to buy another one now. Oh my. Hey, look at this. Things happen in life. So in this picture, you have 4 types of personalities.
呢度咧講緊有4類嘅性格。
When something happened to you and someone gives something bad to you, what is your reaction?
嗱，當一啲事情發生或者別人傷害咗你嘅時候，你嘅反應會係點呢？
You react as number 1, you get very irritated and angry.
你係咪好似第一個咁樣呢？佢好惡嘅。
Or number 2, you don't care and you are passive.
或者佢第二類人咁樣，都好被動嘅，你都唔介意噶啦。
Or number 3, you are melancholic and cry and complain a lot.
或者好似第3樣咁樣，佢就會係好慘啊，覺得自己好可悲啊。
Or you are number 4, you laugh a lot and you don't worry much about the things that are happening around.
或者你好似第4類人一樣咧，佢見到咩事情咧，笑一七飽咁就算噶啦。
So you should know if you are a mix of those kinds of personality.
嗱，咁你可以睇下咧，究竟你係邊一啲嘅性格嘅組合？
Can you change your personality?
我哋可唔可以改變我哋嘅性格咧？
I think you should relax and you should know what is your personality, and then if you know your weak points, you can do a lot of change in your life.
嗱，首先咧，我哋要放鬆，唔好咁執着，然後咧睇到我哋嘅性格係點樣樣，跟住我哋可以嘗試去轉變。
You have to understand that there is a need to change.
我哋需要知道咧，我哋有需要改變㗎。
Insanity, the definition for insanity is continue to do the same thing, expecting different results.
嗱，呢一個精神錯亂，其實佢嘅定義就係話咧，當我哋將我哋所做嘅一切係照舊，但係而我哋期待嘅咧出嚟嘅結果係唔一樣，咁就係叫做精神錯亂啦。
I used to have one patient that was addicted to alcohol.
有一次咧，我有個病人咧，佢係一個控酒嘅人。
I told him to go to AA meetings.
咁跟住我就邀請佢去呢個戒酒會。
And then he went there, but he continued drinking.
去到嗰個戒酒會，佢仍然繼續都飲酒喎。
And then he came back to my office.
跟住佢嚟到我辦公室見我。
And then I asked what happened.
我問佢有咩事發生啊？
And then he said, well, I went to AA, but they didn't help.
我去咗嗰個戒酒會啦，都幫唔到我嘅。
I told him, well, let's do something else. I will send you to a counselor.
或者我哋嘗試做另一類嘢，我俾你咧去見一見心理輔導。
And then he came back after 6 months.
咁喺6個月之後，佢再翻嚟見我。
And then I asked him, "Did you go to the counselor?"
我就問佢：咦，你有冇去見到個輔導員啊？
No, no. I tried the AA several times.
我冇去見輔導員啦，我都係去戒酒會，去咗好多次咯。
But somehow I cannot stop drinking.
但係始終都戒唔到酒喎。
Then I applied this verse to him. Continuing to do the same thing, expecting different results. This is insanity.
跟住我同佢講：如果你一切做事嘅方法都照舊，但係期待唔同嘅結果咧，呢啲就係精神錯亂啦。
So if you have problems in life, if you have stress, you have to do, you have to use, you have to try other solutions for your problems.
嗱，所以要喺生命裏面，我哋遇到一啲嘅困難或者壓力嘅時候，我哋要嘗試用唔同嘅方法去解決。
And many times the solution is inside of you.
有好多時候呢啲方法其實係你裏面嘅啦，已經。
As a last resort, if you have a problem related to your job, you might need to change your job.
嗱，如果呢一個嘅問題係嚟自你嘅工作嘅話，可能你需要轉一份新嘅工作。
When I was working in a hospital, I figured out that this was not the best thing for me.
嗱，我仲記得咧，當我喺醫院做嘢嘅時候咧，我就覺得呢一份工作唔係太適合我。
But I changed my job not because of Dr. Silva, remember?
嗱，我轉嗰份工唔係咧，因為呢個嘅醫生。
But if you have to change your job, you have to prepare yourself. Remember the goals, you have to prepare yourself to do something else.
嗱，記住喎，你一定要訂立個目標。當你咧預備做另一類嘢之前咧，係一定要有個清晰嘅目標嘅。
And it takes time. It took me a couple of years to change my job.
呢個亦都係需要花時間嘅喎，我用咗幾年嘅時間先能夠係成功咁係轉咗我嘅工作。
After all these advices, are you still worried about your life?
除咗以上嘅建議之外，大家係咪仍然對生命都好憂慮呢？
Are you worried about your job, your money, your family? Are you worried about everything?
你係咪仍然憂慮你嘅工作唔夠錢，仍然憂慮你嘅家庭，甚至係你為每一件嘅小事而憂慮呢？
So if you have all the worries in your life still, you should have a help with Jesus Christ.
如果你仍然係好憂慮嘅話，你應該去到主耶穌嗰度尋找幫助。
Jesus said in this verse, "Do not think about your life, about what you shall eat, what you shall drink, and what you shall wear."
呢度講到你哋唔好為生命憂慮，食乜嘢着乜嘢。
And he continues saying that the birds and the flowers are protected and sustained by the Heavenly Father.
因為佢講到天空嘅飛鳥同埋野地裏面嘅花都係神所照顧。
And then Jesus finished saying, "Aren't you much better than they?"
然後耶穌就話啦：你哋唔係比飛鳥更加貴重咩？
So this means that Jesus takes care of nature, of the animals, and of the plants.
而上帝照顧呢個大自然，照顧呢個飛鳥，同埋照顧呢啲植物。
And we are more worthy to Him than any animal and than any plant.
而我哋比起其他嘅植物同埋動物係更加寶貴。
And He cares for you, no matter who are you.
無論你係邊個，佢依然都係咁關心你。
No matter what social position do you have.
佢唔理你喺呢一個社會上有咩嘅名譽地位。
No matter how much money you have or don't have.
佢唔理你有幾多錢或者冇幾多錢。
And no matter how much study you have or what is your race, doesn't matter to Him.
佢唔介意你係乜嘢嘅種族。
So when you have this in mind, you can have really relief of your stress.
所以如果有一位咁嘅生命嘅主去照顧你嘅時候，你話係咪真係可以放鬆下呢？
Another stress advice from the Bible is found in the book of Isaiah 41:10.
另一個可以幫助我哋控制壓力嘅聖經章節係記載喺以賽亞書41章第10節。
Do not be afraid. I am with you. I am your Lord. Let nothing terrify you. I will make you strong and help you. I will protect you and save you.
你不要害怕，因為我與你同在；不要驚惶，因為我是你的神，我必堅固你，我必幫助你，我必用我的公義右手扶持你。